I am the minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County since summer of 2020. I'm glad to see you all here. I see a few faces that look like visitors to me, and I want to say that you have come on one of the most exciting days ever. Not only is my sermon very interesting, but we also have a congregational meeting afterwards if you'd like to see how we run our own business. So everybody's invited to come and observe the congregational meeting that follows immediately after. But members, we're going to pass clipboards and have you sign in so we can declare a quorum. So don't go running away. We need you here for the count. A few things going on in the world right now. This is the International Day against homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia. I didn't know that, but then I looked it up. It's also the anniversary on May 17th, 1954 of Brown versus Board of Education. May 18th, 1896 was Plessy versus Ferguson. Agender Pride Day is coming up on May 19th, and the birthday of Malcolm X is also May 19th. Always kind of interesting knowing what's been going on in the past on a particular day. We have today the Sally McMillan Memorial Service this afternoon here at UUTC at 3. I know some of you have concert tickets, and it coincides with going to the concert, so we understand. We're going to try our best to get it, YouTube to allow us to record it, but some of the songs that have been requested are Beatles songs, and we don't think we have the license for Beatles songs. So YouTube may not let us keep the memorial service up, or at least make us take the music out. Ernie's playing like Imagine by John Lennon and other things in the service, our minister emeritus. So we'll try our best to have something, so if you have to miss it in person. We have a few more announcements. There are things on the counter up front, which I took pictures of because it was easier than summarizing. One is, next week is Super Sunday. Yeah. Super Sunday, and we're hoping that you'll sign up to bring some soup next weekend. That's Memorial Day weekend, and it's always fun. It's always fun, so we hope you'll do it. There's also a sign-up sheet to help out with the Pride Picnic, which is coming up June 7th. This is, the third time that we've hosted a picnic. Probably the third time we've hosted a picnic, and fourth time we've offered some kind of Pride event on the first weekend of June. It coincides with the founding of this congregation, the official signing of the charter for this congregation. So it is part of our mission and our way of reaching out to the community. So we hope you can help out with some of the tasks. Who's coming, what you're bringing, all that stuff. The Wacky Women's Art Circle looks like it's fully subscribed, but there is a waiting list on the counter. That's coming up June 5th. And there's also a sign-up list there. I could not create a QR code. How many of you know how to use QR codes? How many of you have no idea what a QR code is? All right. So I couldn't create a QR code in time for this Sunday morning. So instead what I did is I put out a sign-up list to get on the meal train for Tara McDonald's family. And if you put down your name and email, I'll email you the link to the meal train, so you know which days they're missing meals over these next couple of weeks. Those are some of the important announcements. And at this point in the service, I'd like to carry on into the worship service itself. Take all a big breath in and enjoy the music of John Austin to lead us into worship.
I'll be your worship associate this morning. Please join me in reading in unison the chalice lighting words. May this flame symbolize a transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us.
At this point in the service, we'll have the candles lit for joys and for sorrows. I have a feeling that there are a few things that people didn't write down, but I have a few of those I've recorded, and we'll get started with those we know. A candle of hope and healing for Tara McDonald, who was in the hospital and is back home, and the whole family is needing assistance. A candle for Jubal Tyner, who is in the hospital, and we hope for health and healing. A candle for Mike Griffith, who had moved away but let me know that he was in the hospital for a collapsed lung, and he is back home and well now. A candle, prayers for Janet Benway, who I got to go over and see in Tori's home. She's in Tori's home number 4, if anyone wants to reach out to her. And a candle of joy from Elizabeth Reschauer, who was thrilled to get a visit from her younger brother while she's in the nursing home. We have a candle of joy welcoming Jim back among us. Welcome back home, Jim. And let's light a candle for those things not yet shared, held in the hearts of those who are here or those who are online watching. May the glow of these candles, O Spirit of love and life, lift up our prayers, remind us of the linkage of love that we have with one another. For as we speak out loud or hold in our hearts all of these glowing lights, we are, in fact, participating in the greater interdependent web of all existence. Amen. Blessed be.
Our opening words are by Bran Lennox. We have chosen to bring ourselves here to this sanctuary to gather as a community of faith. We join together in solidarity as a covenanted people who draw together by the promise of connection and the mysterious pull of the unanswerable. We draw on experiences of love and wonder to lift our hearts and move us beyond the mundane. As seekers, wanderers, appreciators of nature, connoisseurs of curiosity, and creators of connection, our paths have converged today so that we might become present to the Spirit that is worship. And so, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is number 360. Here we have gathered. The words will be on the screen. Please stand as you are able.
Good morning. My name is Kevin, and today's Wisdom for All Ages story is called The Messiah is Among You, and it's from the Tapestry curriculum from the Story of the Rabbi's Gift by Francis Dorff. Well, Mr. Cohen, he was the teacher for the third grade class, and they were the most argumentative third grade class ever. They would argue about everything. They would argue who would stand in line first going to lunch, who would pick the game at recess, who was the best speller. They argued about everything. And Mr. Cohen was at wit's end because everything he tried didn't seem to work, and no real learning was going on because of how feisty the students were with each other and how they disrespected each other and how they always wanted to pick an argument somewhere. And so Mr. Cohen, he tried to do what he could for this situation. He promised them ice cream if they could get through one day without arguing. Didn't work. He was polite, and he asked them politely to please stop arguing and show kindness to each other. Didn't work. He made calls home. He sent them to the principal's office when they argued. On and on he tried things, but nothing worked. And the principal started getting pretty frustrated when she saw 15 students from his class alone one morning at her class. And so Mr. Cohen did all he could until he didn't know what else to do. So the final thing he could do was go to his synagogue and collapse in a chair and just start praying. Well, the rabbi noticed his plight, and she went and sat down next to him and listened to him tell his tale of woe about what he was going through. She said, "All right, well, don't worry about it. This coming Monday, you stay home and I'll be your substitute, and I will come in to see what I can do." Well, that Monday came, and he gratefully stayed home, and she came in And she sat quietly and watched the class file in at the beginning of the day. And the class was really confused about what was going on because this new strange person was there. And so they started arguing. Who was this person? Why was she here? Where was Mr. Cohen? Has he finally gone crazy and just left? Or had he been fired for sending too many students to the principal's office? And they didn't know. But their arguing got less and less till they're sitting quietly waiting to see what would happen. And the rabbi spoke very quietly so that everyone had to listen intently. She said, "Please listen up. I'm going to tell you one thing today, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. And it's that last night in a dream, I saw that the Messiah is amongst you." Well, what did the kids do? They argued. Who was the Messiah? What would this Messiah look like? What is a Messiah? What would happen here? And they started debating who could possibly be the Messiah. But they started saying, no, it couldn't be Billy because Billy cut in line all the time. And it probably wasn't Susie because she had really bad handwriting. And it wasn't this person or that person. The arguing went on and the day got through. And Mr. Cohen came back. And the class went on much as normal. But the arguing started getting a little bit less. And instead of pointing out all the faults and problems with each other, the class started seeing each other a little bit differently. Started saying, well, but Billy, maybe he isn't cutting in line as much, and he lets somebody get in line in front of him. And Susie over there, she's showing really neat work and how nicely things are going. And then Ling is probably one of the more polite people in this class. And they started seeing each other a little bit differently. And the arguing got a little bit less and a little bit less till they started appreciating each other more. And as they appreciated each other more and showed kindness to one another, they started appreciating themselves more and wondering, could the Messiah be me? Could the Messiah be you? Until finally, Mr. Cohen's class was known as a well-behaved class, and teachers from around the school came to him asking him what was his secret? How could he get the kids to act this way? And they became a happy, cohesive community together. And of course, that class graduated and summer came and fall came around again. The first day of class, Mr. Cohen walked in to arguing third graders and said, "Please listen closely, for I think the Messiah is among you." And let's all remember that the spark of the divine is amongst all of us, and we should have the curiosity to seek it out. And now, if we have any kids, I'd like to join me in the kids' class.
Peace be with you and a blessing. Peace be with you and a blessing. Peace be with you and a blessing as you leave us now. Now, I had listed in the order of service that we had somebody who was speaking up for the Haven, but I don't, oh, way in the back. No wonder I couldn't see you, Lisa. Come on forward. We have our offering today, and we always enjoy the generosity of this congregation, and Lisa's going to tell us more in depth about the Haven, our special envelope for this month.
Good morning. I'm Lisa McHenry. I'm a member of UUTC's Social Justice Team. The Haven's mission is to bridge the gap between homelessness and permanent housing for both families and individuals. They're dedicated to providing a safe transitional shelter along with essential services to empower those in need and pave the way toward lasting independence. They aim to eliminate homelessness in our county and the surrounding areas, creating lasting change one guest at a time. Some of the guests have struggled with homelessness for years, and others have landed there unexpectedly after illness or divorce, among many reasons, including the cost of rent being higher than many people can afford, even working full-time. Homelessness is increasing, and the Haven is expanding their services and facilities to try to meet the increasing needs. In addition to their existing shelter, last August, the Haven opened up the transitional house, a 3-bedroom rental. It has been tremendously successful. Residents there are chosen using a scoring system that includes questions like, do they have income, how long they've been at the Haven, how their bed area looks, how well they've gotten along with others. Each woman has her own bedroom and a shared living room and kitchen. There was some concern that it would be so comfortable they would just stay and not move on to places of their own. Instead, it has exceeded the staff's expectations. Things began to work more smoothly at the shelter as guests there realized they could increase their chances of moving to the transitional house through their own choices and behaviors. There have been fewer conflicts between guests, and things are staying cleaner with less oversight. Once in the transitional house, residents have been eager to take the next steps and have used the skills they've learned to find places of their own. Even though they've only been open since August, already 6 people have stayed there and then moved out into their own places. The Haven was recently able to purchase a building adjacent to their 2 existing buildings. They call it the Haven House of Hope, and there are big plans. The house will include a much-needed women's shelter with beds, laundry facilities, and a shared kitchen, as well as space for day use for various groups. The common living room will be staffed by peer support specialists and will offer support for substance misuse, mental health challenges, and reentry from incarceration. The need is great, and the Haven does an amazing job. I hope you'll be as generous as you can to help them continue their good work. Thank you.
We will now gratefully receive the morning offering. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Nat. What's given in love we receive with great joy. Thank you. I invite you into a moment of prayer and then silent meditation. In whatever ways you move your body, take in a breath, relax yourself. This is the time. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here today enjoy the beauty of nature all around us, glory of sunny days. We pray, though, for the rains that will come, for we know that while we are, in fact, nourished by the sunlight, the rain is the substance of this great blue marble we live on, which helps all living things. Spirit of love and life, we also recognize that in the world today, there are stresses and strains, wars, drug addiction, street violence, people who are human trafficked. We would hope that our awareness of all these things do not just leave us simply pondering facts, but being curious about the ways in which each of us might in our own way become engaged more deeply. For we know that when we are engaged, we have a space, a purpose, a reason for being, and a way of treating others as if they were perhaps the Messiah. These and the prayers of our hearts and the meditations of our minds we hold now in the silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen. Blessed be.
been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving through the water, stay raging. And in this maze you may lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let things go away, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it will all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom. One day, one day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day, one day.
Thank you, John Arterton, for the special arrangement of that piece. John Austin for accompanying the choir, and of course, all y'all whose voices blend. Oh, thank you. The reading I chose for this is by Adam Odell, who is the Music Resources Coordinator for the Soul Matters Sharing Circles nationally. He's the Director of Music at the First Unitarian Church of Chicago, as well as a pianist, organist, and ASCAP and Kennedy Center award-winning composer. He's currently a doctoral candidate at the Peabody Conservatory of the Johns Hopkins University and a graduate of Clark University, where he got his bachelor's, and Bowling Green State University, where he got his master's of music. His career has taken him across the country and around the globe as a composer, performer, and presenter on the topics of evolutionary musicology, music theory, and choral music. His music ministry is grounded in the belief that music has the power to comfort and heal, but also to challenge its listeners and practitioners to greater levels of understanding and action. So here are his words. I studied evolutionary musicology in grad school. I originally took an interest in the health science of music after becoming a professional musician in a family of healthcare professionals. It's an area of study that requires you to learn a little bit about a lot of different disciplines, music, evolutionary science, and of course, but also psychology, neurology, physiology, archaeology, child and adolescent development, linguistics. I could go on. As a result, I have a lot of fun party trick knowledge that would immediately get put to shame by those who actually study these fields with any degree of regularity. One of the interesting things I learned is that your brain is basically designed to not work that hard. It's a very expensive organ, calorically speaking. It spends about 20% of your body's resting energy, despite being only 2% of your body's weight. And if it worked too hard in the days of early humans where food was scarce, well, that would be bad news for that Anthropocene. As a result, things like zoning out, deja vu, and other mental glitches are actually just the brain saving energy. So next time you're caught daydreaming during a work meeting, just tell your fellow staff you were being fuel efficient. No, don't do that. In all seriousness, we do tend to get less curious as we age. A combination of physical factors, the slowing of new neurological pathway growth, and psychological factors, finding comfort in long-held habits, can explain this. Yet curiosity is linked with better physical, psychological, cognitive, and social well-being. This is from a study in 2020 by Chu et al. In the European Journal of Aging. It's usually at this point of the reflection that I point to a self-evident way music can help with the spiritual matter at hand, but funny enough, music can often be calcifying in this case. I listen to a lot of new music as part of my job, and yet I often find myself taking comfort in listening to the Weezer Blue album for probably the 1,000th time. But of course, music, like many things, can awaken curiosity when handled properly. Whether it's our congregants or ourselves, it's important to train curiosity. So I'll end this reflection with an assignment, so should you choose to accept it. Listen first to one of your favorite songs and pieces. What do you love about it? What drew you to it in the first place? Then listen to something you've never listened to before, especially if you're apprehensive to the idea of liking it. Ask similar questions of that song piece. What do I like the most about this? What would draw someone to this? If we look at something we don't understand with the same good faith as something we do, we often feel compelled to close the information gap and learn more about something that originally felt antithetical or foreign to us. I think we could use some more curiosity in the world, don't you? So my sermon this morning is called Curiosity Seems More Moral. Curiosity seems more moral. Now, this is from a research that was done recently, just in the last 3 years or so, and published in the last couple of years, that came out about the ways in which people from various religious backgrounds, Jewish, Catholic, Protestant, others, and atheists, see curiosity. How do they see another person who is curious, and how do they rate that person on qualities that you might not automatically think? One of those was their morality. Another was their warmth. Now, I have an abstract here from this. This This was published by Sage Journals, sagepub.com. Adults show positive moral evaluations of curiosity about religion in the Journal of Social Psychological and Personality Science, 2024, volume 15. So in this study, 4 experiments investigated the perceived virtue of curiosity about religion. Adults from the United States made moral judgments regarding targets who exhibited curiosity, possessed relevant knowledge, or lacked both curiosity and knowledge about religion and comparison topics such as science. Participants attributed greater moral goodness to targets who displayed curiosity compared with targets who were ignorant or knowledgeable about the domain. So you get that? You can be curious about it, and you're more moral than those who are knowledgeable about it. Okay? Participants attributed greater moral goodness to targets who displayed curiosity, and this preference was consistent across Jewish, Protestant, Catholic, and other Christian participants, but was absent when atheists evaluated religious curiosity. I'll say more about that later. Perceptions of effort partially mediated judgments. Participants viewed curious characters as exerting more effort and consequently rated them as more moral. To test causality, we manipulated perceptions of effort and showed that participants viewed curious characters who exerted effort as particularly moral. And this work fosters novel insights into the perceived virtue of curiosity and further illuminates similarities and differences between religious and scientific cognition. Those of you who are used to reading official journal publications know that that abstract is thick with all sorts of science, but it gets even worse as you get into the research itself, and they have all sorts of footnotes, and they have, and I might refer to a little of that. But right here, we have somebody who took the time to study how people view curiosity. Now, I'm going to tie it to that music piece. Remember, he said that human brains need to stop working a whole lot, otherwise it can use up all your energy. I think that's a piece of why when people perceive that a person is curious and putting some effort into exploring, that they may say, wow. Now, they may not tie the two pieces of study together, but the fact that the brain uses a lot of energy to go along, as we get older, as our reading said, we tend to calcify and not want to find new things to enjoy. We go back to enjoying the old things. But if we're putting any effort into finding meaning in something new, it is clear we're using a lot of our brain and therefore a lot of calories. So maybe, just maybe, we all need to lose a little weight down here and burn it up here to look into things. And so they compared. Do you think this person is more moral because they're studying science? No, not so much. I mean, we appreciate that they're being curious about it, and we're more open to debating facts about science. But the study found people aren't much into debating facts about religion. They're allowing more mystery. So even the curiosity pieces can be still finding our way into greater mystery, embracing mystery even as we were exploring what we're trying to find out in religion. Now, I said before, I'd tell you something about the atheists who were kind of not in line with the Jewish, Christian, Catholic folks. Why do you think the atheists might not find it moral for somebody to be religiously curious? Go on Reddit. Read the atheist stuff in Reddit. And you'll start seeing why they think people who are spending energy on religion are in fact ignoring good ethical things they could just go about doing in their lives. The more they saw people exploring or trying to explain religion, the more they felt that those people were ignoring just the everyday good behaviors that would make you a nice person in the world. So it makes sense that an atheist seeing you being curious about religion would say, you're wasting your brain power, folks. Some religions like curiosity, but not a whole lot of it. Have you ever heard that? You ever notice that some religious folks get tired of the why, and why did this happen, and what did this do? Some religions are like, well, we want you to memorize the answers, and then once you got them, you're fine. You don't have to ask any more questions. All right? Maybe they'll let you look in the religious books and find if there's something that makes sense to you. I don't know. I never found the whole part of Genesis that had all the begats, all that genealogy stuff. That just, no, that's like reading the textbook I saved from college, Principles of Managerial Accounting. And I only saved that book because I would try to get through a chapter and I would always fall asleep. Okay? So there's some things out there that, okay, well, in our religion, we say go and look this far, but don't go too far in questioning. But then there are some religious groups in which questioning is built in. Those of you who have a Jewish background know that if you go through the Passover ritual with your family, the youngest child is the one who's supposed to ask, why on other nights do we eat leavened bread, but on this night we do not? Why? Throughout the whole ceremony there are, why do we do this? Why do we have this? What's this? So sometimes religion does say you're allowed to ask questions. In fact, it's ritually important that we always have somebody ask the question. And we get reminded, or we find out something new. So how moral are you? How much caloric intake does it take to be a Unitarian Universalist? I think it's a whole lot. I think one of the hardest things in the world is to stay flexible and growing, letting your brain make new connections and finding the ways into life that you didn't see before. Now, personally, I have watched this happen with elder folks who suddenly are taking care of their nieces, nephews, grandchildren, or the neighbor next door. The little kid who cannot possibly give up asking questions and finding and discovering something new. Now, maybe it reacquaints us with, what's the phrase out there, go outside and touch grass. Maybe it's helpful that way, but it may also be just because of a loving connection, a sense of, oh yeah, let's help out this kid. The synapses wake up again. The connections happen again. The ways in which we become flexible, open, observant, come open again. In that moment, the aha moment, if you've ever seen one happen to someone else, aha, in their pursuit of whatever they've been curious about. I have an uplift of heart. I don't know if you do, but I like the aha moments. I don't go and grab a pen or something and go, no. I say, wow. How did you think about that? How did you figure out to ask that question? So are you? Are you going to be a moral person? Are you going to really overuse your calories for your brain? Are you going to be finding something new, whether through the eyes of a child or by going online like your minister does and somehow finding an article on how curiosity is perceived more moral in our society? How are you going to find your ahas, your stretches, your way of making it into the world. And I say that as a Unitarian Universalist minister, I am really curious about how you go about those things. And if you come and you tell me, I found it. I found the one thing that awakens my brain. I found the one thing that wears me out. My brain hurts after asking all these questions. I found it. And I'll look at you and say, you put a lot of effort into that. You must be a very moral person. Unless you're an atheist, and then I'd say, wow, that's really good for you to have found facts that reaffirm you in your statement that religion isn't worth pursuing. Whatever it is, Unitarian Universalists have room for everybody. Whatever it is that you're doing, may you stay awake and alive. May you stay oriented to whatever is new out there. Because I do think the more moral that we can be, and the more moral we perceive others, the less likely that we're going to cause violence against others. The less likely that we're going to take away some kind of their human rights. The less likely that we're going to try to ban books in the library. Thank you for listening. May you remain curious and inefficient in your brain. Our final hymn is number 158. I thought it kind of fit in. It's called Praise the Source of Faith and Learning, and John assures me you've never sung this before. He asked me if I ever had. I said, sure I have. But you're right, I don't think I've done it here. So we practice it in the choir, and I'll keep my mic on and I'll sing through it as well. It's number 158. They're opening up books, but the words will be on the screen here. Praise the source of faith and learning that sparked and stroked the mind with a passion for discerning how the world has been designed. Let the sense of wonder flowing from the wonders we survey keep our faith forever growing and renew our need to pray. Source of wisdom we acknowledge, let our science and our heart and the breadth of human knowledge, only partial truth and far beyond our calculation lies a depth we cannot sound, where the purpose for creation and the pulse of life are found. May our faith redeem the wonder of believing that our thought has displaced the grounds for wonder which the ancient prophets taught. May our learning curb the error which unthinking faith can breed, lest we justify some terror with an antiquated creed. Praise for minds to probe the heavens, praise for strength to breathe the air, praise for all that beauty heavens, praise for silence, music, prayer, praise for justice
Praise for hearts and lips to fashion. Praise for love that never ends.
As you go out into this world, do so with curiosity. May you, in fact, be that person in this world who helps someone else get out of their own stuckness. May you help see them in ways that makes you want to see them be morally curious and wasteful in their brain power. Use up those calories and come back at least a pound lighter next week. And we'll see the glow in your faces. Blessings on all of you. Members, please stay. Members, stay.